Racism. Now, this is a topic I've just wanted to touch on a little bit. Some people can be touchy subject, um, but I still want to talk about it and address it from my own perspective because, again, this um, podcast is just me giving y'all my perspective on the various topics and subjects that I present. So, racism, by definition, racism means prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. So that's the definition of racism, according from the Oxford Dictionary. Okay. Um, so there's always been somewhat of a theory that if you're a black person, you can't be racist because of the racism of white people and stuff like that. Now, if you just listen to this definition that I've given you, it will let you know that by definition, if you're a black person and you fit this definition, you are a racist. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you can be racist towards Asians, you can be racist towards Latinos, you can be racist towards whites, you can be racist towards Middle Eastern, etc. And this applies for other ethnic groups. If you're Asian, you can be racist towards black people, you can be racist towards white people, you can be racist towards Latinos, and if you're a white person, you can be racist towards Latinos, you can be racist towards Asians, you can be racist towards blacks. It does it's no kind of like, a lot of people like to do the um how can I say, the double standard, you know what I'm saying? And I just try to keep things objective, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of times people like to have their subjective view of things, and that's okay, but there has to be room for objectivity because that is what I think in a lot of ways is lacking a lot of times, especially in this day and age. Objectivity, seeing things for what it is, um, rather than how you would prefer to see it, right? Um, but uh, for me, I racism is rooted in a form of self-hate. In my belief, um, you're racist towards another group or person. One thing I've noticed and I've learned and observed with people who are like this is they have a jealousy towards that group. There's a something about that ethnic group that they would like to have, but they don't have. Even if you go and look at racism with, like racism in the U.S., right? Just give an example because there's racism all over the world. I'm just giving an example, just with particularly blacks and whites, right? The racism that white people, Caucasians, how you want to say, European Americans, whatever, right? That display amongst or against blacks is usually rooted in some level of self-hate, jealousy, envy, wanting to be in some shape or form like black people, but because in maybe ways that you're not, and yet you just can't be like them, there's that anger because of that, and it gets projected on black people. Um, and vice versa, right? Even when you see like a lot of very pro black and Pan African, I love it. I'm gonna get into more just like having love for your ethnic groups. Like a lot of these kind of individuals, at the same time that they're saying, pro black and all this and slandering white people and stuff like that, and slandering the culture, white culture and stuff like that, you know, European culture, whatever, they'll be the same ones doing what the Europeans do, talking the way Europeans talk, using the same language, dressing in suits and, you know, certain styles of dresses that come from European culture. So it's like, how you this, I'm against white people and the culture and they're against, but then you're like doing the same thing that white people do, saying the same thing white people do. And then you see the same thing with white people. You see, racist white people slandering blacks and talking down on blacks, but then you're eating their food. You're dressing like them. You're listening to black hip hop artists. Like this is usually the, you know, the element that like a lot of times can be a bit uh kind of confusing in a lot of ways, because it's like, how on one end you slandering somebody, but then you're like doing what they're doing. You want to do what they're doing. So, you know, it's always, rooted in some levels of self-hate. And, for me personally, I'm just of that, mindset of, I've always been a person who's promoted diversity, different ethnic groups. I've always embraced different ethnic groups, my ethnic group, other ethnic groups, and people to embrace and love who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a white man, white woman, you should love the fact that you're white, and your culture, the culture that comes with being a European or white, whatever. Like, you should love that. You know what I'm saying? You love who you are and stuff like that. If you're a black man or woman, like, you should love your who you are, your ethnic group. You should, like they say, be unapologetically black. You should be unapologetically white. You should be unapologetically Asian. You know what I'm saying? You should love your culture. You know what I'm saying? Where you come from, you should be unapologetically Latino, whatever, where you're from in South America. Like, you should love who you are. You should love your culture. Like, that's the mindset that I feel like people should have. You know what I'm saying? All ethnic groups should love who they are first. First, okay? Love who they are first. And also, at the same time, embrace other ethnic groups, embrace the cultures that come with other ethnic groups, because you can learn some things, you can adapt, you can learn and apply some things in your life. And that's one of the things that makes America such a great country, because there's so many different ethnic groups, and you can learn from different ethnic groups and how they do things and stuff like that. But like I said, number one, you know what I'm saying, you should love wherever you come from, you know what I'm saying, and who you are individually, you know what I'm saying. It's always somewhat of a push to get people to not love who they are. I've noticed that people have done this to me all my life, um, in some shape or form. Maybe it's probably even family members and stuff like that will try and get you to feel low about yourself, feel bad about yourself, to some degree. Um, and so it's that's kind of like the how this society is and stuff like that. But like I said, for me, try to encourage people to love who they are, love where they come from, embrace all of that. So